Alright folks, how's it going? One of the things we are severely lacking in modern entertainment is a strong male hero. Even the ones that they do cast get tossed to the side in their own story. Everything is gay, everything is subverted, and as a young man, who is out there for you to relate to or to get inspired by? Well, in these videos, I hope to provide you with an answer. Let's start off with our favourite son of Guilliman, the boy in Ultramarine blue.
Rise, Demetrian Titus, Master of the Watch, Captain of the Second Company, Warden of Ultramar!
Now 40k isn't exactly the setting you'd think of when it comes to conventional heroes. There are many characters within the grim darkness of the far future who do heroic things, but they don't typically last too long, or there's a war crime or two in there as well. Even my boy Vulcan has his Karatan incident. And I suppose Titus isn't a conventional hero either. Purging thousands of Xenos for the crime of being non-human is questionable through a 2026 lens. But this is 40k, and within the context of the setting, Titus is the one character Games Workshop seems to want us to get behind. So much so that we've had 2 miniatures for Titus already, and yes, I have both. Interestingly, there was nothing prior to 2024. It was really the success of Space Marine 2 that prompted Games Workshop to canonize and model him. I didn't play the first Space Marine when it came out, was it back in 2011? Although I have since caught up with it, but I did fucking play Space Marine 2, and I loved it. I realized I don't need crazy combat combos or button sequences to learn. I didn't realize it, but what I did need was a jacked 8-foot-tall one-man army just mowing his way through hordes of Xenos scum and traitorous heretics. Yeah, I could have done with a bit more story and some other factions, but, you know, that's the mark of a good game. It leaves you wanting more, and I can't wait for Space Marine 3. I hope we get a Guilliman and Titus interaction. I loved the interactions in Space Marine 2. It's just so over the top and uber masculine. It's perfect. Also, I will not forgive Games Workshop for killing off Chiron off screen. No, that is unforgivable. So is Titus's resonance entirely predicated on the hype around Space Marine 2? No, I don't think so. I mean, it certainly helped explode his profile, but why we find ourselves cheering on this grumpy, centuries-old, genetically engineered super soldier lies beyond that. Modern writers would have you believe that you must look exactly like a character to be able to relate to them, which anybody with a functioning brain would tell you is wrong. I mean, I don't look like Titus, and I'm sure many of you out there don't look like Titus. We also don't exist in the 41st or 42nd millennium. We don't have service studs drilled into our skulls. Everything modern writers preach tells us we shouldn't be able to connect with this dude, but we still do. In our 15 years with Titus, he kills the Orc war boss Grimskull, fistfights Demon Prince Nemiroth, gets exposed to the warp but seems unaffected, gets reported by the snitch Leandros to the Inquisition, survives over a century of torture and interrogation by some goon called Thrax. Thrax gets killed by the Grey Knights, believes he's embarrassed the Ultramarines and serves his penance as Black Shield in the Death Watch, returns to the Ultramarines as a lieutenant under a new captain, doesn't complain, gets mortally wounded, crosses the Rubicon Primaris, destroys a hive ship, destroys Imura, another demon prince, I probably got his name wrong there, gets exposed to the warp again, doesn't give a fuck, may or may not, but definitely does hear the voice of the Emperor, gets recommended by the same snitch Leandros for a mission with 100% mortality, doesn't die, saves Meteorus, gets reinstated as captain after Acheron and his Scottish accent gets killed by a gene stealer cult, gets tasked by the Primarch of the Ultramarines, Guilliman, to reclaim the 500 worlds of Ultramar. Titus is the ultimate loyalist underdog. Proof a mere captain can rival legends among 40k's grim dark entropy. You can't kill him.
Not yet, old man.
Tens of thousands of heretics have tried. Members of the Imperium have tried, Chaos powers and Xenos alike. Titus meets them all, head on, chainsword in hand. You can even take Joseph Campbell's monomyth and apply it to Titus, which is wild for 40k. Yeah, some of it gets subverted, like for instance the Elixir is more war, but also perhaps it's Titus himself, elevated to such a position that even the Primarch and current leader of the Imperium is entrusting him with huge tasks. His abilities, his mentality and his heroism is what the Imperium needs. There are no fairy tales in the grim darkness of the far future, no ultimate victory, and the setting will always restrict characters from certain tropes or ideals. But that also feeds into Titus's mythos. In what the concept of 40k allows for, Titus is everything we could hope to be. Unyielding stoicism and duty, he endures torture, warp exposure, grievous injuries and demotion without breaking. He embodies the Codex Astartes purity, but will still call out zealotry. Leandros, I'm looking at you, you fucking prick. He leads from the front, fighting alongside his brothers. He uses his experience and studies the enemy to find an advantage. He's resilient and honourable. He remembers his fallen brothers and shows loyalty beyond dogma. His resistance to the warp suggests there may be something more. Perhaps it's the Emperor's touch or blessing or something. I mean, there is definitely more to that story. Titus is the masculine ideal within the grimdark setting. Raw power, unapologetic, faithful, fearless, dutiful, redeemed. And listen, I get why some in the hobby might not be quite as taken with him. In a giant galaxy with trillions of inhabitants, it's yet more Ultramarines focus. And even though we've had characters like Cain or Dante of the Blood Angels, Games Workshop hasn't had protagonists like Titus. And I understand why some might be averse to that, but I'm not. Maybe it's spending hours butchering aliens and traitors to the Imperium. Maybe it's idealism. Maybe it's the complete lack of male heroes in Western media. Maybe it's something else personal to you. But of all the settings to find one in, 40k has given us a hero we can all look up to. Unless you're a filthy heretic, that is. Alright, as always, I appreciate you taking the time to check this video out. Please do let me know your thoughts on Titus or anything 40k, or another hero you want to see covered. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.